Tired of dealing with annoying flies, fruit flies, and gnats in your home? The Zevo Flying Insect Trap is your ultimate solution. Don't wait. Check out the link in the video description now to get your Zevo Flying Insect Trap on Amazon and enjoy a bug-free home today.
New York Attorney General Letitia James says getting Kamala Harris elected president is her singular focus, despite plenty of cases on her hands. James led the prosecution of Donald Trump that won a $454 million judgment against him in February for inflating the value of his properties. Trump, who was also banned from doing business in New York for 3 years, is appealing the verdict as the fine accrues interest, and James will try to seize his assets if he fails to pay up. Vice President Harris is the presumptive Democratic nominee after President Joe Biden dropped out of the race against Trump on Sunday. James quickly endorsed Harris and continued her support when appearing on MSNBC on Tuesday night. Host Joy Reid asked her if she hoped Harris would appoint her U.S. Attorney General if she defeated Trump at the November 5 election. "I'm focused at this point in time on securing the nomination for Vice President Harris, and then ultimately getting her elected," she replied. "That is my singular focus at this point in time, and continuing to stand up for the rule of law and representing the citizens of the great state of New York, as we do each and every day. As you know, we're in the midst of a trial against the NRA today. We will pursue that trial, continue that trial to verdict and get benefits for the residents of New York." James listed various points of focus for her office, that notably did not include prosecuting criminals, standing up for the LGBTQ community, standing up for reproductive rights, standing up for our environment, standing up for seniors, marginalized and vulnerable populations, standing up for what is right, she said. "But that's what I do each and every day. And that's what I am focused on, in addition to electing Vice President Kamala Harris." James compared herself to Harris, who like her was a district attorney in San Francisco and then Attorney General of California. Vice President Harris, when she was the Attorney General, was responsible for going after banks who were responsible for the foreclosure crisis, she said. She defended the Affordable Care Act. She went after major corporations that engaged in deceptive business practices. She went after those individuals who abused the law, both as it relates to women, who engaged in sexual abuse of women. She went after individuals again who violated the criminal code, the civil code. She is overqualified to be president of these United States. James was also asked about racist attacks by Republicans on Harris, which began almost as soon as Biden dropped out, calling her a DEI hire. "She's a DEI hire, right? She's a woman. She's colored. Therefore, she's got to be good," one man in a clip Reid played said. James said Republicans were running scared at the prospect of facing Harris at the election, and have nothing else other than racism and sexism. "When you have nothing else, unfortunately, you just appeal to the racist among us, the white nationalists among us. That's all," she said. The reality is that Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, is qualified. And, oftentimes, she's underestimated, but she's an overachiever. And that's why I have wholeheartedly endorsed her. And it's unfortunate that individuals are just amplifying racism and sexism, and it's totally inappropriate. And I will not dignify it with a response. James also unloaded on Trump, including his family history in New York, and called on Americans to vote against him. "I have spoken to some individuals who used to live in some of his buildings in Brooklyn, who he and his father discriminated against because they were African American," she said. "And those individuals tell me the types of tactics that they engaged in. And so it's really critically important that individuals understand the character and the type of individual that Donald Trump represents. And the fact is that he is no respecter of titles and is an individual who will stoop to a certain lows, obviously, to achieve his objective. He's not concerned about the rule of law, not concerned about the interests of working-class people in this country, not concerned about uniting us. It's all about how he can benefit himself and his family." Judge Arthur Engoron found Trump and his sons Eric and Donald Jr. of civil fraud in the case spearheaded by James. He ruled they conspired to inflate the value